Hey everyone, it's Sam Quack here once again with Accelerated Strategies.
Today we have JB, one of our amazing clients, and he's here to share his story, experience, and how his encounter with
Accelerated Strategies.
JB, how are you doing today?
Hey, doing good, Sam and team. Doing great.
Awesome, awesome. So JB, just getting started, tell us who you are. What was your perspective on your personal finance and mortgage before your
Journey is like with Accelerated Strategies.
Sure, Sam. Would love to share that. So I grew up the oldest of five kids out here from Atlanta, Georgia. Actually grew up in the real estate industry. So my dad was a architect by trade, but he also was a part-time realtor. So my Saturdays were spent waking up, going to over 24 properties on the weekend, helping collect rent, mowing grass. So I think I was free labor. I don't know. I haven't figured that one out yet. Still trying to work that one out. So I also kind of grew up in the real estate industry. Purchased my first house right out of college.
Wow.
And then, so right out of college, believed in home ownership. So purchased my first house out of that. And then I decided, okay, I want to be like my dad. Let me get my first rental property. And that was a disaster. So I was, trying to, start a family, again, fresh out of college, making some money, but not a lot of money. And purchased the first real estate property outside of Atlanta and couldn't get a renter. So I was paying two mortgages. And I said, well, let me try it again. It just may be me. Try it again. And then I had three properties, didn't have a renter. So, a lot of bad experiences, but did learn from that over time.
Yeah. Wow. Well, fortunately, you had a head start, right, in terms of, I guess, knowledge and experience when it comes to real estate. So, so let's talk about what led you to encounter Accelerated
Strategies.
What motivated you to look for ways to pay off your mortgage faster? How did you discover the strategy? And tell us a bit about your encounter with Accelerated
Strategies.
Sure. So I was recommended by my certified financial planner.
Okay.
He actually had one of your videos talking about the process of paying off your mortgage quicker.
Yeah.
I do have a few rental properties now, and I had one that I've had for about 10 or 15 years. I did want to get paid off. I had quite a few, had over $100,000 in equity. So I looked at different options over the past, but wasn't too knowledgeable, if you will, on how it worked. How to engage different lenders, what the process will be, and et cetera. So the financial planner actually shared your information, looked at your video, and I talked to one of your consultants, probably talked their head off and asked her 5 million questions. But she was so patient. She was like, okay, here it is. And the one thing I did like about your program is you explained it. It was no rush. And you also had the calculator. So you can actually see month to month what that payoff would be and how long it would take.
Yeah. Was it Greg that introduced you to the strategy?
Yes.
Yeah. We love Greg.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. So I guess going back to the motivation side of things, what made you want to pay off your mortgage? Because you could have always said, I can wait, 20 years, 30 years to pay this off. I'm going to stick with the amortization. There's that aspect of it. So I guess for you, what was wrong with that route versus wanting to pay it off faster?
Well, I would say there's nothing wrong with that route if that's your strategy. I mean, I plan to keep the property and make sure it goes down into the family for the family, to keep and own. But there's two benefits of doing it kind of your method. One is I don't have that overarching debt month to month, right? So it is paid off now and it's still cash flowing, using it as an Airbnb. The second benefit is I have access to over, $100,000 to, get another property if I want to, and make sure that's a cash flowing investment. So those are the two benefits. And also too, just your team, right? I mean, anyone can go out and do this on their own, but they don't have a team. They don't have the team or team members that kind of help you through and ask those questions like I did many times.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you were already working with a CFP, right, like Greg. And so you understand the value of having counsel, having someone, that could look on your behalf and make sure that you're not running into any pitfalls.
Correct.
And it sounds like to me, part of your motivation is you want to convert some of the bad debt, as some like to say, and turn it into more efficient income producing assets, right? More rental properties, which is,
Correct.
I like the way you're thinking about it, right?
Yes.
Converting something that is might be depreciating, isn't really creating much wealth for you into something that will, yeah, I mean, that's makes perfect sense. So what was some of the, I know you explained a little bit of the aha moments, like, hey, I can turn my $100,000 equity into perhaps even more. But did you have any other aha moments, an epiphany going through our strategy?
Yes, I would say so. The process wasn't hard, but I'm not
Yeah.
saying it wasn't easy. So I guess I would say that um, definitely the team is hands on. So anytime I had questions,
Hmm.
anytime I was had any doubts, again they were there to make sure the complete process with the bank was good. As far as epiphany, not really from my perspective. Again, kind of raised in the real estate industry, had
Yeah.
property for years. So from my perspective, it was, I'm not gonna say it was a no-brainer. I had looked at it prior, like 4 or 5 years, but didn't pull the
Okay.
trigger. So from my perspective, not an epiphany there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, which is actually um, an interesting insight because you've been around real estate long enough. You've seen it all. You have a
Mm.
lot of experience. You bought properties. There's a lot of transactions. So this is actually a really interesting question to ask because what made it for you a no-brainer looking at a strategy like this? Because someone who has never been in the real estate industry, they really don't have a place to go talk about money. They don't, they're not maybe the furthest they've gone when it comes to financial education was maybe a YouTube video, right?
Yes.
That's the depth. To them, this might seem strange. This might seem kind of out of the blue. For you, I mean, you come with a lot of experience. What made it a no-brainer for you? Because I think that's a very interesting dichotomy for someone who
Mhm.
never really had a working knowledge of finance in general.
Yeah. So for one, I mean, I'm a numbers person. Went to Georgia Tech, so I mean, I'm crunching numbers
Yeah,
all the time. Trying
yeah,
to make it financial sense. And I would say initially looking at the opportunity, the numbers. I mean, again, it kind of made sense and it didn't. Like, how can I actually do this and it will do
yeah.
that, have that output? But again, I kind of deep dive into it again with the consultants. We worked through your spreadsheet and just kind of went through the details. And as updates change or how the amounts change, we kind of went through and I could see that every week.
Mm,
So the no-brainer part is, you have three different strategies. So you have the HELOC portion, you have the chunky method, and your different methods. So I was pretty, it was kind of, good to know that I wanted to do the HELOC, right? First
right,
position. But again, if that didn't work, you had other strategies, the chunky method. I still had some cash on reserve that I could do the chunky method.
right.
Right. So for me, it was kind of a no brainer and it's
Mm,
really the knowledge. So it's not that anybody can't do it. It's just your team and the knowledge. And then that they'll help you find the right method to pay it off quicker.
right. So going through the strategy, working with our team, obviously it's good that I'm glad to hear that you're using our team well, right, and getting all the
Mm-hmm.
answers you need, and making sure there's a system in place and process in place for you work through this. Because of this strategy, what's changed for you, particularly? I mean, was there a perspective shift as far as how you look at money? Again, you have a ton of experience already. What's different now versus before?
Accelerated strategies.
Sure. So the major difference is I paid off my property in 3 months.
Hmm.
So from
Wow,
start
great. So three
from
months, not 3 years.
no 3 months. Yep. Yep.
That's awesome.
So, so I took a lot of so I kind of start the goal was to make additional income to pay it
Right.
off quicker. So I was able to. I did have some cash reserves, but I was able to get some additional income in that short
Wow.
time frame and pay it off in 3 to 4 months.
That's incredible.
The HELOC, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So, I mean, did you thought that was possible before?
no, 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 never. When they send the deed, they're like, "Hey, your deed is oh what really? That's I had another 15 years on that. I have it in 3 months. I mean, it was pretty shocking, right?
Wow.
So that was probably the biggest, actually seeing, the deed
Yeah,
of payoff. I had another 15 years and it's done in 3 months.
that's
But again, I
incredible.
mean, I had some, again, additional cash reserves
Right.
and also had, brought in some additional income to do that.
Right. Yeah, and then just for the viewers, I have I have to make sure that they understand that a 3 month for, I mean, JB obviously comes from an experience. He's got decades of real estate finance experience. So, I know for someone watching this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do it in 3 months too. Like, well, hold on. Like, JB has the advantage of, experience. He obviously grew up with a father who is in real estate or was in real estate. And so I just want the viewers to understand, like, what JB did, not typical, right? It's possible, but just understand that it's the accumulation of the aggregate of what JB has done in the past that with Accelerate
strategies.
he was able to do this.
Yeah, and I'll put a caveat to that, Sam. So
Yeah.
I mean, I did do it in 3 to 4 months because I took a lot of reserves and did it. But your team estimated at my current income rate, it would took another 5 years. So the original was 5 years based on, I originally had a 15-year left on my mortgage. Your team estimated with your strategy, it was going to take 5 years. But I say, you know what? I have some extra cash. I'm going to knock it out quicker. So that's the difference from the 5 years to the 15, but I did it in 3.
Yeah. So you saw that was 5 and you're like, what? I think I could do better. And then that kind of pushed you, right? And challenged you to do it faster. That's amazing. I mean, even that's incredible. So as we kind of wrap things up here, JB, I mean, paying off your property in 3 months, obviously it's a huge eye opener. What additional possibilities have opened up to you? So you just saw that happen. You're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, right? I like to call that the Roger Bannister moment. If you don't know who Roger Bannister is, he's the first one to run a mile in 4 minutes, under 4 minutes, right? Everyone thought it was impossible until he did it. So you paid off a property in 3 months. What's now possible for you? What new opportunities has been opened for you?
Yeah, so number one is the availability of the HELOC allows me to now, actually purchase other businesses, not necessarily real estate, but other cash flowing businesses.
No, that's great.
So I have gotten into some digital spaces with some of that cash. And again, being able to pay that off again with the additional income. Of course, real estate, that's kind of my bread and butter and my passion. So still looking at properties there. So those kind of been the two. But again, it frees up that cash flow that HELOC frees up cash so you can actually make purchases, for cash flowing assets.
Got it. That's awesome. So someone looking at this, brand new, they may, have finance and real estate experience like you, or maybe they don't. And they've been introduced to this concept and strategy just like you, but they're on the fence. They're not really sure if this is the right move. They're skeptical. This is really new to them. What would you say to those individuals? They're on the fence and really unsure about moving forward.
Number one is, and this is kind of the philosophy I live by. I mean, information is free, right? Right. So you can actually speak with your consultants. Get information and make a decision if it's right for you. I mean, of course. At some point, time is cost, but at least, get the information and make the right decision for yourself. So that was, key for me is once I got the information, it was like, is this really possible? And then again, look at, testimonials. So I'm really big on if a process is working and it's working good for the others, people will testify for that. Right. Or you'll have reviews, right? I mean, good or bad. I mean, you're going to have reviews. So, do your due diligence. Once you get the information, verify the information, trust but verify. Make sure that the information is correct and also that it's right for you. And then once you do the first two, you got to act. Doesn't matter if you get the information, you talk to the resources. If you don't act, you're going to be in the same place you were yesterday. Right. So those are my 3, points that I live by. And sometimes, you might need an accountability partner to do that sometimes. That's okay. You have a lot and you can run it by people, but again, you can't let other people's perceptions or lack of knowledge, make your decisions for you. You still got to act on your own.
Absolutely. It sounds like that's working out really well for you, JB. So keep going. keep at it, man. That's awesome. So trust but verify. JB, thank you for sharing your story. And I think a lot of people who are still new to this concept, I think they're doing the right things. They're researching. They're looking for more information. I have a faith background. I don't know about you, but there's a saying, right? Seek and it will be open to you. Exactly. Right? And I think a lot of people I live by that too. So thank you, JB, for sharing your story. And for those who are watching, continue your journey with us. Check out some of the other stories like JB. Whatever resonates with you, we hope that you'll be making a well-informed decision at the end of the day, whether this is for you or not. So thanks, JB, once again. And for everyone else, we'll see you in the next video.